Now here's a real nice thing about Corel that I really love. Um, when you select something, an item, this is a regular selection area, you can see that this X represents where the center of this piece is, which is -10 plus 22. That's up 22, back 10.199. So now, since we have a circle that we're working with, this is where being centered really comes into play. We're going to change the center of this item to 0 on the X plane, is 0 on the Y plane. So that way, when you select this and you hit it again, you'll see that the 0 is here now, instead of being in the middle of the actual item. So this allows us to, if I double click it, now in order to do this I'm going to have to shift. I'm going to have to go to Control J, and again it says in Toolbox, because when it's closed you'll see it like this. So you click Toolbox, you go to Picker Tool, and this will duplicate, if you hold the Control, anything that you want. So I'm going to, instead of being constrained like we've been doing when things just open up perfectly from the inside, we're going to go to a duplicate when we hold Control now. I'm going to click OK. And so now if I click on this again and I grab this and I hold the Control key and let me for some reason this went back to 0 again, I guess because I changed the settings. So I'm going to undo this to get our perfect area again. I'm going to change this back to 0 because you can see that's where the center of the item is. I'm going to change it back to 0 again, and when I hit enter, you'll see this is where our 0 is now. So now if I grab it and I hold Control, it will circle around the center perfectly. I can let it go, and now that if you are in this mode and you are perfectly, if you don't re-click it again, you can just hit Control D again, and it'll just keep on going for you and give you all the selections that you need. Now, of course, it didn't completely match up because this wheel was a little bit off center. So if we click it twice, we could manually make some adjustments ourselves. Click it again, and it'll still rotate. Click it twice. Oops. And it will rotate. It's all rotating around 0. We'll click this one, click it again, rotate around 0. We'll have another one. The last one, we'll bring it right to where it needs to be. And so now that we have this on a different level over here, we can go kind of see what we have so far. With this eye, you can hide the logo, and this is what we've got so far. And you can actually lock the logo with the pencil over here, so that way you can't do anything. You can't select it, you can't move it, so it's protected. And so when you need to see what's going on, you can always move it that way. And so we have our knobbies. We have the inner wheel, outer wheel. We have the inner wheel. We have our guideline for the logos. We have part of our bird. So I selected this, and I called it Yellow Bird. Now I'm going to alter this. And this is right now, this is a straight vector, but we have to make this vector vulnerable to manipulation. So I'm going to break it apart. There's the symbol over here, which is convert to curves, or you can just do Control Q. And once you convert it to curves, you have the ability to go over to the shape tool and manipulate it in any way that you want. Now I'm going to select this, and you have these nodes, these nodules. And I want to be able to manipulate them in a way that is very useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these cusps. With cusps, that means you can get a nice sharp turn on them. And so if you take, once you convert to a cusp, then you can manipulate it this way for a nice sharp curve. And then I can just get rid of this, and I got a nice perfect half dome. Now once I have a half dome, since we're in center once again, I could select the yellow bird. I'm going to Control D to duplicate it, and then I'm going to go up to, this is the X and the Y. If I do, I know it's perfectly at 0 this way, but as far as X and Y, if I do a negative Y on it, just put a little negative mark right there, it will go down exactly below the equal distance because we're at 0. And then I can just turn it upside down with mirror vertically, and we have a perfect match on the other side. However, I just want to change the name because once you duplicate an object, it duplicates the name as well. So we have to change the name, and we're going to call this Bluebird. And so now we have our center, and now we're going to go ahead and put some more lines in here. We're going to draw these manually because this is the quickest way to do that. So with the Freehand Tool is what I like to use. I like to use the Bezier curve, and I have my, right now it's in a mode where it kind of will stick to, it'll we call it, what do they call it, snap to a item, so it helps me draw much better. So I'm going to snap to this. I'm going to go ahead and go there. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go here because I want a nice curve. So if I allow myself to come around that, it'll allow me to have a decent curve. I can come straight down here, and I'll do the same with this one. I'll come over here, and you notice I can snap to these lines. It really helps me because I have snapped to objects and lines. And if you're a little bit off, it's okay because you can always come back and correct it later. And so I got that line like right here. I have a little mess up. What I would do is I would select all these so that all these nodules are selected. I would turn them into curves, convert to curve, and then I can just get rid of, while they're all selected, if you double click them, they'll all go away and give you a nice round curve. You double click anything like this one right here, it makes it disappear. And this like this corner right here, if you right click it, I can convert that to a curve. That way if I get rid of it, I can I have the ability to manipulate it in a way that is nice and smooth to get the nice rounded edge that we see there. And so now we have our outer edge. Up here we see these kind of jagged marks, and we want that to be smooth. I will select all of those and select curve. And now while they're selected, if I double click, they go away, and I can manipulate it in any way that I want. Get a nice smooth edge. And here again, I see this kind of a point here. If I click around it, if you double click, it puts nodules in as well. And I can double click and get rid of that one. It'll give me a nice smooth surface here. And so that's what I'm going for. And so we have these lines, and all these look okay. And we have all our lines going around. And last but not least, let's draw our bird real quick while we're here. Bezier curve. If you just click around it where you want. Some people will like to do this, and you can give it one long turn to get one nice curve. However, the next nodule that you do could be kind of out of whack. So I just tend to just put in a lot of clicks because it ends up saving me time more so anyway when if I just click at will, because You have to go back and clean it up anyway, most of the time. And so we'll just click in our bird and get it nice and together. We go back to our shape tool, and again we're going to get rid of this nodule because it's not necessary. And what we have is this arrow. From that, I'm going to make this a hasp tool so that we don't have this little thing here. And we're going to bend this out because it's nice and round. And we're going to go ahead and select these. We're going to make them round, and we can even get rid of those like that. Nice. You don't want to have, the less nodules you have, the smoother the piece will be. So you want to try to work with as little nodules as possible. And again, for the head, you can go up here, and we're going to make it round, and we'll get rid of those. We can just manipulate that any way we want. Double click to get rid of that one. And bring this under. I think we'll bring this one in. We'll grab these and we'll make those round. We'll get rid of those. It'll leave all this round. Now if we want to, we can bend it out just a little bit because our bird needs to have some more beauty within it. We're going to take all these, we're going to make all these round, but we're not going to get rid of those all at once. We're going to just get rid of those one at a time because we need more control over what's going on. Don't want to get too carried away with removing nodules because sometimes you can run into problems. Sometimes you have to slow down just a little bit, and that way you get a nice smooth bird. And we have our, I guess this is a dove. I think we can put a nodule. If you double click, you can put a nodule in. And right now the snap is on. You can go up to view and you can turn your snap to objects off at any time if you want complete freedom to bend at will without it trying to help you and snap into place somewhere that you don't want it to snap into place. And I think I'm going to give this, I'm going to make this curve, get rid of it, and now I can give it a little bit more. Same with this one. If you right click it, this opens up, gives me a little bit of more curvature, freedom, to make it look more like a flying bird. And we have that right there. I think that looks pretty good.